Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Baschamania podcast. This is episode 87 and the first coffee talk. If you don't love coffee, don't worry. We're not talking about coffee for an hour. But today we have Coffee Cenzo and Coffee Nick, both back on the podcast, but this time on together. If you haven't subscribed to the podcast, be sure to subscribe wherever you listen. Apple, Spotify, Google, Stitcher, Overcast, wherever you listen to podcasts, be sure to subscribe to Baschamania. And if you enjoy this episode, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts.
It's Baschamania! Let me tell you something, brother. He gave us everything he had in him tonight. What you gonna do when Baschamania runs wild on you? Oh, it's gonna be a good one. And business just picked up here on the podcast. Oh, yeah.
All right, Baschamania 87, Coffee Talk 1, here with Coffee Nick, Coffee Cenzo. How are you guys this morning?
Doing good. How about you?
Doing good. I've been waiting 8 months to do this.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm feeling great. Highly caffeinated right now. Ready to go.
And you guys only drink black, right?
So if it's hot coffee, yeah, all black if it's hot coffee. But like if I'm drinking like a cold brew, out there some almond milk or something in there.
Okay, because I've been hooked. What I've been hooked on lately is espresso with a little super creamer.
That's fine too.
Yeah.
That's been my sweet spot lately. If I drink too much coffee, I start crashing before I can get the high out of it.
Yeah, well, you have to drink a lot of water too.
Yeah, I drink a lot of water.
Like you got to keep mixing in your water
While you're drinking the coffee.
Yeah, or else you'll get really dehydrated if you drink too much of it.
See, that makes sense because for a long time, I've been a big 5 a.m. workout guy. And I'll drink pre-workout like Amino Energy first thing in the morning. And then I'll drink coffee after my workout.
Nah.
Well,
I can do that.
I like to work out and drink my coffee after, but like I've actually never taken pre-workout or anything.
Really?
Yeah, no.
I don't either.
I like never once.
What?
Taking pre-workout in high school and it made me feel weird, so I just stopped.
So what do you do like before practice? Is it straight coffee?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I live my normal life. I don't need to get myself amped up before I go wrestle. It's just
I feel like especially a morning workout, I don't want to drink coffee before that because I feel like
jittery.
I get jittery and like I think my freshman year I was doing that and I would start to like need it before like in the morning. I didn't like that, so I started only drinking coffee after I had my morning workouts. So I wasn't like reliant on it to like wake up in the morning.
Oh yeah, I'm so dependent on it. I'm 100%. Like I wake up, I start drinking pre-workout at 4:30 this morning so I can start answering emails.
What kind of pre-workout?
Amino Energy grape or like a blue raspberry. It's so potent. I'll go to kiss my wife good morning. She says, "Get away from me."
If I don't understand all of the things that's in the whatever I'm putting in my drink, I don't really want to drink it.
I get scared at looking what's in it.
Like that's it.
Honestly, I drink coffee, water. I have like an electrolyte, and that's about it. Right?
Yeah, that's pretty much
it.
it. Liquids, man. Almond milk.
I'm not too far different aside from some wine at night. I drink water and pre-workout all morning, then a ton more water, then usually something at 1, whether it's coffee or more pre-workout, and then more and more water.
That midday coffee. Yeah.
Right. That's needed unless I can take a nap because the post-lunch nap then coffee is you can't beat that.
And you don't realize how great naps are until you get into college and into the working world, and you're like, wow.
I don't take them.
See, I'm a big morning person, so for me to take a nap, it's like a second morning. It's like,
oh wow.
You said you woke up at 4:30. Last time I woke up at 4:30 was like, I don't even know. Can't remember. It had to have been high school whenever we had school starting.
Probably go to the airport.
Yeah, I'm good at waking up on 4:30 for a little bit.
Yeah, same.
So,
and my body just naturally wakes up at that time. It's no alarm clock needed. I figured out the other day I'm on like a 250-day streak free of alarm free streak.
Yeah, I saw you tweet that. but then you still wake up at 4 o'clock every day. Or 4:30.
Yeah, I just get up whenever my body says wake up. It's usually dependent on my stress level. High stress, I'm up at 4:30. Low stress, I'm up at 6.
Well, let's try to sleep in a little bit longer
I can't.
now. Well, maybe because you're taking too much pre-workout.
I know.
That's
Maybe I
probably
need.
why. Maybe we cut some of that out.
To quote Coach Cody, sleep is very important.
Very important.
Yeah.
Oh, I love sleep, and I'm assuming this is a good segue because it's been a weird 2020.
Oh yeah.
Since March, you guys have wrestled a combined one match. That is just like
That was you.
Yeah, that was me.
1-0.
I
Yeah,
wrestled
we're
the
1-0
combined
right
squad
now.
matches.
Right.
We're gonna hopefully extend it to 2-0 after this
Yes.
next week.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that. Let's first, before we even get to Cenzo's match, what have you guys been doing to keep busy? Aside from getting into politics, Nick, because I see you're getting more and more into politics, and I'm becoming more of an avid fan. But
Yeah.
what have you guys been doing?
Like Cenzo into that either. So
What's that?
I said we don't got to drag Cenzo into my
No,
politics.
no.
But yeah, I mean, well, me, I'm still in college, so I'm taking a class right now. I'm majoring in health policy administration, so that takes up a lot of time. And then practice, and then weed. I mean, video games, uh, spike ball.
Yeah, I mean, I actually just had my meniscus done like 2 days ago,
Yeah.
so I'm kind of just chilling right now. But
Was it just like, hey, this
just got to shave down a little bit, so I'll be back in a couple weeks.
just a casual shave out?
Yeah, I'll be back in a few weeks. So I'm hopefully I'll be ready to go for our next card in December. That's kind of the plan here for me.
How did you feel competing the last one against Dan?
I felt fine. I felt maybe I was trying to do too much in a short amount of time. I was trying to pack like 6 months of wrestling into 6 minutes.
Yeah.
But he's a tough wrestler, great guy. I was happy to compete against him. I grew up watching Dan Valamont wrestle too, so it's just like it was pretty. It was a pretty cool moment. Pretty surreal. But it was fun to go out there and wrestle still.
Does it feel different? Because like the landscape of wrestling seems to be changing a bit. I keep talking about this in the podcast where it's like everything is different. Right now, the biggest event going on this week is Flo vs. Rockfin, a trial on what's competition, what's not. Like there's so, and I think that's, for many reasons, but one of them is because the landscape is shifting. More and more people are going to, we were just talking about it before we started this, about creating content, whether it's the club, and Cal came on here and he was talking about that, creating content as a club, becoming a mini media entity. And now as an athlete, like who knows what's going to happen this upcoming college season. Lock Haven's out, Ivy League's out. You're seeing high school sports get completely just, some people might compete, some with a mask, some this. It's bizarre. Do you guys feel like the landscape is changing?
You're gonna speak first.
I mean, I actually was talking to Coach Kale about this yesterday, just very briefly, just about how social media is just such a big influence on pretty much everything now, and it's like, yeah, like for me, I like social media and stuff, but you see how I use it, right? Like I like it's for me, like I use social media because like I post what I want and stuff like that. I'm not trying to please other people and things like that, and that's one way of looking at it. But like with kids like promoting themselves and things like that, and like for me that just kind of gets in my head.
Yeah.
But some younger guys that like grew up with that, that's just, it's just normal for them maybe, and it's just like it's not like something that's going to get in their head or be a distraction down the road.
I think with just sports and entertainment in general, I think it's important to put things out there so there can be exposure. And we always talk about, oh, we want to grow our sport. Well, this is how you do it. And just kind of going off what he was saying about the social media, I wasn't really on social media growing up, and I think that was like a good decision. But it's almost like impossible to do that now. And I think I think there's a certain level of maturity that comes with understanding how to use that. And
for sure.
Just not to be tied to it as your personality, which is, I mean, is a whole nother conversation. But I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing that media is playing a bigger role in growing our sport.
Yeah,
but-
and it'll just help us too. And I mean, like,
Yeah.
freaking, like, we have guys like, Roman, like, putting out awesome content, and, like, that helps Roman, but that helps the sport of
that helps
wrestling, too.
every-
That
yeah.
helps the sport of wrestling, and,
Yeah.
like, we like that, like, like I said, me personally, I'd have a hard time making a video of myself like that and, like, posting it just because, like, that's just not how I'm wired, but, like, my guys do that, I'm all for it, I support them, 100%.
And it comes back to authenticity. You have to do what matches your persona. And Nick, you just kind of alluded to this with personality. Like, and I saw Yanni and James Green and Ashnell, a bunch of guys going back and forth on Twitter yesterday talking about that. Like some guys like talking crap and kind of hyping up the match, others don't. And I think when you can tell some of the guys who are kind of forcing it to try to create the relevance,
Oh, yeah.
it's like, okay, you're reaching here, but it's natural. You can tell when someone's creating content. Like one of my favorite people to consume content is Gilman. I wish he would create more content.
We say that all the time.
We agree with you 100%.
Yeah, we say that all the time. Anything Gilman puts out is typically awesome. Anytime he talks, all ears, all eyes, everyone's
right.
Yeah.
And it's authentic. You can't replicate that. Like when we built his website, I remember thinking like we put up this blog because a guy that works close with him, Adam Fellers, was saying like this is where we need to take the direction of this website. It's like the warrior spirit. And reading this thing he wrote when he was in Russia, I think at the time, I'm like, this is insane. This is like a book I would sit down and read, like Letters from Russia by Thomas Gilman. Like, so you can tell who's authentic and you can tell who's not, but seeing more and more of it. And I think even guys like Cal are coming around where they know, okay, social media can be a distraction, but as the landscape continues to shift, now it's about, okay, if you're creating events on Rockfin to draw in fans, draw in attention and generate revenue, now it's important to have that audience to market to, because how many followers does each wrestler have that can get more and more eyeballs? It's important. And I think a lot of people are going to find out that level of maturity real quick. Like you said about what should I post? Just because I can post, I shouldn't. But do you guys feel like, even from a brand standpoint, I mean, Nick, you still have 1 year left. Cenzo, you're done now, and you're starting that next chapter of with a bigger focus on, okay, I need to provide more income, revenue, and that stuff. Do you feel that's shifting for you?
I mean, I definitely feel a little bit of, pressure, in that area, right? So, I probably should, promote myself more, put myself out there more. But, like, I think I'm just kind of waiting, for tournament season to come up, really, hopefully, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully, we get some tournaments in the spring and stuff like that. And, I kind of just want my wrestling to do the talking for me. That's just like, like, I'm gonna, I'll promote, I'll post stuff, things like that. But like, I just can't go overboard. I don't know. I just don't have it in me, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, it's tough for me. I get sucked into it more and more because I've grown my business that way. I build a lot of relationships through showcasing what we can do, talking to people, whether it's athletes, whether it's business owners. I've leveraged it, and you got to be careful if you're not leveraging it. It's a tough balance where you have to look at it daily and say, okay, how can I use this for good instead of.
And you mentioned authenticity, and I think like
It's very important.
I'm at a point in my career where I'm not going to manufacture anything that I don't want to put out there. So if I post something or if I say something, I feel like that's going to be authentically me. And if the reality is that authentically me is not posting anything, then I'm not going to post anything.
True. Yeah.
So and I I'm not too worried about like if what the following that I have can contribute in some way, great. But I just understand that there's people with different personalities that draw more, and like we said, with people that have a lot of followers that are posting content, that's not just helping them, that's helping their teammates, that's helping all of their opponents. So
And just like, Bo Nickel has a huge following, right?
Yeah.
Bo Nickel posts, for the Rockman channel. He gets subscribers. That helps everybody. That doesn't just help Bo Nickel. So like, I like that we do it that way with the Rockman, just because like it's more of a team, aspect.
Yeah, and speaking of Rockfin, we keep talking about this events, and Nick, we'll talk about your match in a minute next week. But it's like, do you guys also feel that landscape is shifting? Where it's like, I don't know what your focus is, Nick. Where you're kind of hanging on for a college season. Cenzo, you're obviously focused on Olympic trials right now. But do you guys feel that's shifting? Where when Cal was just on here, I was telling him like, if this were 4 years ago, all of you guys are going to senior nationals and risking the quarantine, doing everything else. Now you can have your own event, get matches on, and it's a completely different feel. And I got to imagine for you guys, it feels a little bit different because you didn't grow up seeing this, where every month there's an RTC throwing a card together. And right now you have so many events going on. Now you have RTC Cups, you have events on all these different platforms. Do you guys feel the competition landscape's changing?
I do. The only thing like there's like one issue, one slight flaw that I have with it, and it's just like getting the matches right, getting the right matches. That's something I've been struggling with too. I haven't wrestled, the past two cards. I haven't been able to get, the match I want
Yeah.
or any match I want really. It's just um guys, when it comes tournament time, you're wrestling in a tournament, you don't have a choice. You got to
Yeah.
wrestle the guy when you get there. But for a card, something like that, you want to kind of protect yourself a little bit. You don't want to let the new young guys get a shot at it. Right? So like I understand that from a certain aspect, but like I think it's good for us to all like right now just getting matches in though and being able to like wrestle with our teammates on a card or something like that. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think like honestly, the RTC setting up cards and everything. I think that's a silver lining and everything that's been going on, at least from my perspective. Because I mean, as far as growing the sport, as someone, we have dedicated fans that are going to sit and watch a tournament all day, and we love those people. We're more likely to have people from outside the sport that are going to sit down and watch a wrestling card for 2 hours, right? They're not gonna watch all day. My grandma will watch me at a tournament all day, but my best friends won't. So
also, I'd like to point out real quick, NOWC women are undefeated on the card.
That's
so
true.
So
yeah.
So shout out Mark McKnight, the women's coach, for the NOWC.
And by the way, I'll make a cheap plug real quick. Any of these matches that have happened, first of all, if you go to rockfin.com/NLWC, you can subscribe and get all the existing matches from the previous cards. So if you want to go see Cenzo beat up on Dan Valamont, if you want to go see the undefeated women, Dan, if you're listening, you're a good guy. But I mean, just so all these women that are undefeated, all these matches are archived. So you can go watch that. You can watch the upcoming event on Tuesday, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But it obviously helps support these guys. And like you guys are saying too, I know Cal was telling me like it's important too to have some primetime events, like having these things at 8:00 at night instead of doing something at, I don't know, a Saturday at 10 a.m. That's a big change in viewership alone.
Right. And I think, was it our first card? We had it during a UFC event.
Yeah, we did.
So, that was just the way things happen there. But I think the Tuesdays have been good though. What else are you doing on a Tuesday evening?
Right.
There's no football. Like,
right.
Yeah.
And you guys aren't used to having matches on Tuesdays. Does that feel different at all? Getting ready for that or no?
I haven't done it yet. The one I did was on a weekend. So
I think
that's right.
He hasn't either. Well, I guess we'll let you know.
We'll revisit that on Coffee Talk too.
We'll talk about that next time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like it's not like we've been having matches, so like it's just exciting. And I think the preparation is the same moving up, and I think like there's definitely monotony in everyone's lives right now, not leaving the house, doing everything over Zoom. Everyone's getting kind of zoomed out. So I think
I love your Instagram bio, Penn State Zoom University.
Yeah, it's true, man. I'm dying for in-person classes, but yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. I mean, in high school, I used to have matches on like Wednesdays or something. So yeah, so it'll be back to those days.
So speaking of getting these matches together, you're wrestling Brandon Wright on Tuesday. How did that match come about?
Coach Kale asked me, "Hey, do you want to wrestle Brandon Wright?" And I was like, "Sure."
Are there?
He's what? I was gonna say Brandon Wright's he's somehow like under the radar. He's a good wrestler.
Really good.
That dude's good.
Yeah, he can throw some curveballs. Yeah. Although the last match, I was thinking about this morning, the last match I vividly remember, Frank Molinaro smoked him last year. I think it was like the last chance qualifier. I'm pretty sure it was like a 10-0.
Frank.
That was the last one I remember.
Always some yelling and screaming and bombing involved.
Frank's also really like very, very good. So.
Yeah.
Frank
Frank's
was
a little good. Just an Olympian.
Frank was like a foot away from being an Olympic bronze medalist.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
I remember when he called me, we were talking about it when he didn't think he was going to get in. And that story alone was wild when all of a sudden he's on the golf course and he gets a call saying, hey, you're going to the Olympics. But back to this Brandon Wright match. Are there guys that you want to wrestle? Like if Cal says, hey, we're going to do another Christmas card. We're going to do one December 22nd. Is there somebody like you want to wrestle, or is it kind of just going, hey, coaches, get me a match where you think I should wrestle?
Like I don't really have like people in mind. I just want to wrestle the best competition around my weight. So we've floated some names around, and everyone's just kind of busy, or some people are on this flow card, so they have no competes.
Yeah.
I kind of leave it to my coaches, and I'll make suggestions, but the best competition around my weight, that's how I want to wrestle. But I think there's kind of just a pressure like just to get matches right now. So we're just kind of looking for anybody for this one, just because I haven't competed since March.
Yeah.
Pretty excited about it.
Well, and when Gilman, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say like pretty much same thing for me. There's obviously you want to wrestle the top guys at your weight, right? And I mean, guys have been doing different things, competing in different events and things like that. So it's been hard, and guys like to get paid a lot too. So
that's the other interesting thing that's starting to like when I don't remember if it was on the podcast or not. I hope it was on the podcast.
I offered my purse to someone for the last match and they wouldn't take it. So
can you say who it was? Or you contractually obligated not to.
No.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Well, when I can't remember if it was on the podcast. I hope it was, so I don't get in trouble. I hope it wasn't a text, but I'm pretty sure when Gilman was just on the podcast, he was talking about how I'm like, who did you want? And he's like, Spencer Lee. I was like, who's the next guy you wanted? Michich.
Yeah.
He's got a hit list.
He doesn't care. Yeah.
But it's funny because a guy like Spencer, I know Spencer decently well, and he seems like he wants to wrestle people. Yeah. But now it's like a thing of, if you're Spencer, do you wait to take it at the Hawkeye Wrestling Club? Or if you're Gilman, do you want to do it in State College? Like, are you going to start getting people that want home field advantage?
They'll probably do it at the trials, is what I'm assuming. I don't think.
Yeah.
Just like the same thing with Burroughs and David. David's been trying to get a match with Jordan for months, and he's kind of it just is what it is. He says he calls him out, but who really knows?
I was dying at somebody tweeted out like, are you guys scripting this or something? Because you see so much.
It could be. It could be. They're friends. Like,
yeah,
like they're cool.
Well, I remember laughing back when Instagram used to have the technology where there was a tab and you could see the function, you could see the activity of who follows who. Mm-hmm. That's gone now. But then I remember after Dake and David went up in weight, it said like, all I see is gold started following Kyle Dake and Magic Man.
Yeah.
Because he's like, well, it was competitive, but that's the nature of the landscape. And for you guys, if you guys had the number ones in your weight on the next card, would you be running towards it?
What do you
mean running towards it?
Yeah, what do you
like super excited for it? Like you see some guys kind of running from it, right? Some guys are like, I don't really want to wrestle the number 1, 2, 3, or 4 guy. I want to wrestle him to trials.
No, I mean, give me the best guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. I think
that's what we train for, right? You train for the top 1%. You don't train to be
right. But you see some guys that are like, no, I don't want them to get a feel for me before the trials.
Exactly. I was just. You can disagree with me on this, but I feel like there's this attitude of we're gonna save it for like the tournament,
right?
Tournament, but like, why, man? Like, what are you wrestling for? You're wrestling because you enjoy it and because you want to win big matches, and like, so get the big matches.
I think what we should do, and this is just my opinion.
All right, let's hear it.
I'm assuming for the Flows RTC Cup, I think the Spartan Combat Club is going to win it.
And they should wrestle us after.
And then you guys should wrestle on the NLWC Rockfin.
That'd be great for me. I'm all in on that.
You and Dake.
Yeah.
Lee and Yanni. if those two headliners alone don't sell a year's worth of admission. I mean, but would you guys be like wanting that? Like that's something you're like, okay, these are two of the best guys in the world. Give it to me now.
Absolutely. And I feel like, I've known Yanni for, a very long time, and
Yeah.
with David and Jake, it's just we have a good enough relationship with them that, I think that if this doesn't happen where we, obviously, this is a hypothetical that
Correct.
if they win and
Right.
like, and me and Nick are even on the team that wrestle them because we have 75 guys. All hypothetical. I think it would be great, But like I said, it's going to be timing, things like that, because they have a card in January, right?
Spartan Combat.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike Gray was on here and he was saying they're planning an event in January, but I don't know if that was before or after they finalized the Flow RTC Cup, because I heard some people were like invited last minute and there was a lot of like last minute banter. So I'm assuming, but I got to imagine this is going to be the model for most clubs. And what I'm curious about is what happens internationally. A lot of the tournaments, January, February, March, even, the Dan Koloff, the Urigan, the Allens, a lot of these tournaments are overseas. And I remember someone asked there's a media press conference and we were asking questions and somebody was asking like, what happens? I think it was somebody from Flow. Like, what happens with these tournaments overseas? Well, we don't know. Well, how do you plan? Like, aren't you guys starting now to plan kind of a competition schedule up through the trials? It's only 6 months away.
Like I briefly talked about it with, Coach Casey, Coach K, like a little bit, just like, hey, like, January, February, what's going to be the plan? Like, stuff like that. We really don't know, just because, there's just so much up in the air with like, we don't know what the schedule is. We don't know if the tournaments are going to happen. We don't know if USA Wrestling is going to let us go anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, you just got to be ready to jump at the chance to wrestle. If one day they say, hey, the trials is in a week now. And
right.
I mean, you just got to be ready to go. I mean, that's why we're here. It's, I think Coach Kale talked sometime, a perfect plan is really nice, but I'll take someone, with the passion over someone with the perfect plan any day.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And do you think these, if you can't go to these international events and you have these RTC cards, do you feel you can get the same level of preparedness? I know sometimes going overseas and sometimes wrestling these foreigners does something different where it seems like it gets you guys even more ready. Do you feel like you can get that same kind of preparedness through these RTC cards if there's no, let's say, an international season this year?
I think they're different, the RTC card I wrestled on when I wrestled Baschamania, like, to give, like, just for example, like, it felt like it was like the first round of a tournament, right? Just like, haven't wrestled in a while, just kind of like, you get a little chest burn. I feel like if you go overseas and stuff like that, like, you get that a little bit, but then you kind of push through it, right?
Yeah.
I actually never even wrestled overseas or anything like that, and that's something that I've wanted to do and that I would like to do this spring.
If you go overseas this spring, you need to wear a Baschamania Coffee Talk singlet.
All right, just send me one, 2 or 3, and then I'll wear them.
Perfect.
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe we've been trying to talking about getting some international guys in for matches too. Just briefly, if we can. I think that would be something cool.
Yeah.
You bring up a good point too with the difference of a dual meet versus a tournament, which typically RTCs in the senior level has always only been tournaments. Now you're really only seeing dual meets. I'm imagining there's going to eventually have to be some kind of, much like the RTC Cup, but even that, because that's still dual format, it's not an individual tournament. I'm imagining at some point you're going to have like an RTC tournament.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
you guys can try.
All right. I mean, that would be cool. I think an RTC dual tournament's awesome though. Like
100%. I love that.
Whenever I heard that, I was like, let's go. Like, I thought, like, we were talking about doing it, and I think we had too many guys excited for it, which is why we're not doing it.
Well, now that's another event. What you do is you participate in and this is hypothetical, if you participate in the RTC Cup, and let's say NLWC sends 6 guys, Now on Rockfin, you go and have the RTC Cup wrestle-offs. Who's not paying to watch that?
We can't do that. We can't have wrestling.
What?
I mean, we can, but like it's just it'll make things a little complicated in house, maybe.
But hypothetically, it'd be good for the fans.
Hypothetically, it'd be sick. Yeah, we could probably make some money off that too.
So yeah, I can't be excited, but I know it's not going to happen. Nick, going back to your match Tuesday, and we're all over the place. Do you feel right now you were in like peak Nick Lee shape the last time we saw you back in March? Like you looked mean. Do you feel like you're in that shape right now?
Well, I don't feel mean. I feel like a nice guy. But
all right, then no. The answer is no.
yeah, I mean, I feel ready to go. I mean, we've been doing nothing but training, since then, and I'm just excited to finally get to competition, and I feel like I'm in good shape. So I guess we'll find out. Never really know till it's match time.
What's your expectation for yourself for the match?
Pain.
Pain.
Nah, I'm gonna be the best I can be. As I have always tried to do. So I mean that's my expectation for myself. So
is there an expectation of I want to pin, I want to attack, I want whatever, or is it just going to be a thing where after the match you'll say I feel like I wrestled regardless of how you win, let's say? Is there an expectation for yourself? It's simply based on how you feel, you think?
I'm going to score as many points as I can and give up as few points as I can. And at the end of the day, I think that the results will show for themselves. So yeah.
We've been looking at statistics recently showing, winning percentages based off points you score.
I would love to go into this.
Okay, go into it, please. I want to hear it.
We can't we can't dive into it. That's all we're gonna give out. But
you're right.
Like come on now. Like
all right, we're going into closed chambers.
That's just like the brief overview,
Okay.
We'll look at it like that. But it's actually pretty interesting stuff. Like I feel like statistics with wrestling is it's different, compared to like, football or basketball or baseball. Cause like there's in wrestling and like fighting, there's a knockout, there's a pin.
Yeah.
Like football, you don't have that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think us looking at this statistic stuff is very interesting, but it's just like, it counts up points, right? So if you score like 10 points, you have like a 90-some% chance of winning the match.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Given that it's over, especially if you're talking freestyle.
Right. Yeah, but then like, me being, a jerk, I'm like, well, what if you give up 10 points also? So I'm like, well, the percentage of like, probably pretty high.
Yeah.
Probably just the reverse. Right? So, like give up 10 to score 10. Like what are my chances then?
See, and this is one of the reasons I love watching all these content creators, maybe myself included. I love seeing all this new wrestling content because you're getting new angles and you're getting new perspectives that you would typically hear like in the bleachers or in a locker room or on the mat after practice. You're starting to get more and more opinions. And I think it's going to help bring more fun exposure, because if you were to tell me that I could track a win percentage based on points,
you can, yeah.
I would and if you gave me that, I would love to watch it during a match. Like you see it with football, you see when there's like win percentages and then they tank, or even with the presidential election back in 2016, Hillary was like 99% and you saw the curve. I would love to. I think if you bring elements like that to wrestling, it just makes it even more fun. I also think you need to be able to bet on wrestling. I think that would be fun too.
I was gonna try to ask someone at Barstool to put our card on the Barstool Sportsbook.
That would be huge. Yes,
to do that, and I gotta try to work that out.
Yes, let's blow up Twitter today with that, because I think that's a great idea. Because betting makes everything fun, whether you bet or not. I've got a
interesting, like not necessarily great, but it's true.
I don't gamble whatsoever, but I mean, I feel like you should be able to bet on wrestling. I mean, all I hear about all the time are college kids talking about betting on football games.
Yeah,
and it'd be awesome if we could get wrestling into that conversation.
Right, and it's cool too to look at, like, even if I don't bet on something, I love watching, like, let's say Barstool's sports advisors show, and you hear like it's a lot different when if the Patriots are favored by 13 or the Steelers are favored by 11. You have a better sense of the game and who should win and if it's an upset when you see the line. Wrestling needs to have the line.
bet Nick Lee -2.5 on Tuesday, right?
That's light.
You might be favored more than that, but all right, Nick Lee -5. I'll take
Correct. That's better.
it.
See, that's the things you need. You need the odds makers for wrestling, and that might be the trickiest thing.
Right. I feel like I don't know. I feel like Willie would be good at that. Though.
Willie would be great.
There's definitely a
There's
small
definitely
group of people that could do it. I couldn't do it.
No, I couldn't either.
Yeah.
No, I'm too much of a homer. Number one.
Yeah. Hey, yeah. I'm gonna all my guys are gonna be huge favorites like every match.
Yeah. And I feel like someone like Willie can kind of predict the way a match is gonna go. I have no idea where a match is gonna
Those
go.
guys study wrestling.
Yeah,
you know?
man.
You need to have guys in a room like a whole variety. You need like the Jason Bryants, like the historians who see things play out. You need the Willies. You need the people who have the technical analysis who can sit there and think, well, his style versus this and that and this percentage. And going back to the statistics, I gosh, I can't even talk. If you go into all those things, that would be exciting to see some of these odds.
Absolutely, I think so too. It's just I don't know. It's just wrestling.
We're not the guys who make it happen.
Yeah, wrestling is just it's a very different sport for that kind of thing. So it'd be really interesting if they had statistics as in depth for wrestling as they do for other sports. Just out there, it would definitely be.
And there's like that WrestleStat.com,
okay,
like stuff like that. That's great for college, but
right.
like for international, there's nothing really.
No.
Yeah.
There's a couple of guys that are like starting to do it, that are starting to like show some stuff and keep some, but you need that. You need to be able to look all that stuff up.
Right.
Yeah, man. Now I want odds for Tuesday. We're gonna have to tweet out at Barstool Sportsbook, Dave Portnoy.
I'll ask KB. We can get on it.
Yeah, he's actually. I forgot you know him well, don't you?
No, I wouldn't say well, but we know we're friendly.
You did an article. They did an article about you, right? Or like an interview with you a couple years ago.
A couple years ago, yeah.
That was hilarious.
Kind of kicked off he did a few that year. He did one with me, Mark, Spencer Lee.
Yeah,
some good exposure for wrestling. So
the funny thing is, a lot of the that?
I would like to see him go in and get some more college guys to do that again.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring up Roman again because he's just really good at putting out content.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you have a lot of the Barstool guys that I've seen. I know Brandon Walker, Big Cat. These are like pro wrestling nerds. Like they love wrestling, so that should translate down. If you love that, you should at least have an appreciation for college Olympic wrestling.
A little bit, right? I feel like you should have an appreciation for college Olympic wrestling no matter what.
Yeah, agreed.
You know that it exists.
And I actually asked when Kurt Angle came on the podcast, I asked him, I said, okay, you've won everything. You've literally won everything. What's your favorite? And he said Olympics, hands down. Not his WWE championships, not any of that stuff. It's Olympics.
I believe it.
Yeah.
That holds some weight. And these Barstool guys, they got to get on some college wrestling coverage.
Yeah, because that's what America wants, just more college wrestling.
College wrestling is different now than it was when our coach just I feel like it's so much. Maybe it's not, but I feel like college wrestling is freaking so fun right now, especially
it is
before they canceled everything.
It was fun last year. It was pretty cool.
I know. I feel like it was it was on the up and up, and then everything got canceled. And that was I can't imagine for you guys, obviously, but even for me as a fan,
yeah, we've talked about it a little bit. It was hard, but things happen for a reason. We just move on and just keep plugging.
Nick, are you hopeful there's going to be a season this year?
I'm hopeful. I think that it kind of puts things in perspective. So as far as season this year, I don't really see any reason why not. And I know there's lots of competing.
I don't think there's going to be one.
I know there's lots of competing thoughts on that. I see no reason why not to have a season this year. We can make it happen very easily. And but then as far as them canceling season, I think I hope that puts it in perspective for lots of guys, especially young guys. And so you kind of, for me at least, it made me kind of realize, why do I do this? Am I getting caught up in the results of competition, or am I doing it because I enjoy it? And so I think everyone had to do some hard thinking after that. And but yeah, it's I'm hopeful there's a season, and I don't see any reason why not.
If there's not, would you wrestle next year?
I mean, that's my plan right now. I've got another year of eligibility. This year's a free year,
Yeah.
so I mean, yeah, I don't see why
It
not.
might delay the official launch of Coffee Talk merchandise and everything else.
Just a little bit, but hey, that's all right.
Let me ask you this. This is kind of a hot issue that's debated or talked about, I guess. But when you have a year like this where there's going to be X number of people left out, the Ivy League already lock haven, do you think there'll be an asterisk next to the season because of that?
I do.
I don't know. I mean, look, like you're gonna have to, whether the Ivy League's in or out, whoever's out, you're gonna have to beat good guys no matter what.
Yeah.
Just because Yanni's not there doesn't mean that it's like just a weak bracket. It'll be weaker for sure, with those guys not there. But it's still college wrestling. It's still really competitive.
Yeah.
Maybe an asterisk, but like at the end of the day, though, like
I see both sides to the conversation. I really do. Like,
title, you win a national title.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
I don't think people are going to look back in 20 years and say, "Oh, he's a national champion," but it was that COVID year.
But yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I mean, I don't remember who was national champion 4 years ago. So I mean, I think there is kind of an asterisk, but I don't really know. I don't want people to get confused about my feelings on it because I think it's great if we're able to wrestle.
100%.
And I think that I'm really happy about them giving an extra year or a free year to people competing. I don't think it makes any sense, but I like it.
Yeah. Maybe they should go back to the seniors who kind of.
If it's a free year, why? Can Cenzo hop
That's
in?
my frustration.
We're throwing Gilman at 125 this year. If it's free year, you know what I mean. Like, it doesn't.
Robbie Howard might have something to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but I'm happy about it because I think we're making wrestling happen. Hopefully, but yeah, I mean, it's really odd.
I mean, we can get a couple 5-time national champs, like why not, right?
Yeah, and that's kind of what I mean is as far as putting it in perspective. Are you taking away the meaningfulness behind it? And that's why I think it's helpful for me to think of it in terms of why do I wrestle? Because I really like it, not for any of the end results. So.
Yeah, I just hope that it continued. Wrestling was trending upward before COVID. Everybody sensed it was trending upward in every avenue. Yeah. I just hope that continues.
NCAAs were about to be insane last year.
Insane in a football stadium,
right? And it would have been. I still firmly believe it would have been a very tight team race.
It would have been. Yeah. It would have been. No bias from any of the three of us, but it would have been.
Listen, I claimed before that we would have won. I'm going to stick by that. But like it would have been an awesome race. So the competition would have been sweet.
I know.
Everybody would have been into it. Like
I think
it would have been a great time.
Already with the Ivy League being out, it kind of makes it sting a little bit. But like this year, if nobody would have been canceled, if everybody would have wrestled and everybody had that eligibility, I think this year could have been absolutely wild.
I think so also.
I hope already you have some teams out, but I think there's still a potential that it could be wild.
Think of it this way, free year, no one's going to redshirt, right?
Right.
So it would be crazy. It would just be like everyone's in. Like
right.
No one's getting held out for anything. You're going to see freshmen at different weights and stuff just because like
right.
Maybe waiting for guys to move out of a weight class, but like free year, throw them in there.
And I hope, like getting back to that trending upward, I hope that this year, because you have so much of just go put it on the line, who cares? That should hopefully build even more and more excitement for the next year.
And I think people are going to let it fly during matches more.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope so. I think our guys will,
Yeah.
Definitely not RBY. He won't.
No, Roman will probably try to win like 3-2.
Right. Yeah, he's going to probably have a really defensive season.
And with Carter will be real defensive too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to watch that guy this year, man.
I can't wait. It's like I'm in this place right now where it's like I'm so excited for what could happen, but I get so like nervous. Like it feels like we're on the verge of another lockdown. It feels like we're on the verge of cancellation. So it's like I don't deal with disappointment that well. So if I'm getting so excited for the season and then you take it from me, I'm going to be upset.
Yeah, I mean, like, when it comes to college wrestling, I'm a fan now. So
Yeah.
so I'm excited too.
Yeah, there's nothing like being a fan of college wrestling, especially now that see, I feel like a Penn State homer because Cal has made me feel that way. Like he's brought me in and made me feel like part of the team.
Right.
But I can't imagine the fandom you got to have of graduating from a college and then rooting for that team after. Like, I'm so jealous I never went to college for that factor alone.
I've been screaming at my TV every Saturday for every Penn State football game. Me and Nick both.
I've been screaming at
Yeah.
Penn State football, all right?
Yeah, it's not really a great year to be a Penn State football fan.
It's never a bad year to be a Penn State football fan. We
Yeah,
just want the best for our team.
That's all.
That's a very political answer, political Nick.
We want the best for those guys. That's all.
For sure. So,
For
listen, before I let you guys go here, Nick, final thoughts on your match. And everybody listening, go to rockfin.com/NLWC. Make sure you pay the $9.99. Don't be cheap. Go get the match. Nick, what can people expect who are going to tune in? And also, Wisconsin's going to have a duel right before it. So go to rockfin.com/NLWC. Watch Cenzo beat up Dan Valamont. Sorry, Dan, no disrespect. Watch the women who are undefeated. Watch all the archive matches. Then go watch the Wisconsin duel at 6. Then watch the NLWC duel at 8. But Nick, from you specifically, what can people expect?
Yeah, it's going to be a fun match. It's 2 Indiana guys, so I'm hoping we get a good, Indiana crowd watching. So I don't know if that,
Why is Cenzo shaking his head no?
Like, total.
And we're
Not that watch wrestling, just total.
and we're proud of it. But yeah, it should be great. We're gonna have a good mix of guys that have been around for a while and then new guys that are on the scene. So I mean, it's just gonna be an awesome card. So everyone should tune in and yeah,
Your
definitely.
brother's wrestling too on the card, right?
Yeah, my brother Joe's wrestling. I'm actually not sure who he's wrestling.
Joe's wrestling Zach Hartman from Bucknell.
There you go. And then we had a
The
few.
fan. See, the fans always know.
Yeah,
No, Joe's like my pupil.
I don't know who I'm wrestling.
I'm gonna be very mad at my pupil.
I don't know who I'm wrestling in the semifinals at the nationals until I'm walking out to the mat. So that's the difference there. So,
Really? You don't pay attention to any of it?
No, he has no idea.
I'm gonna be honest. I've tried to in the last years because I think it's helpful to know what your guy's gonna do before you walk out there. But yeah, no, sometimes I just forget to look.
No, okay, so he's like that, but Shakur Rashid just didn't know. He was wrestling Colin Moore. He's like, who's this guy? He was getting recruited to Penn State. Coach Kale called him. He's like, he didn't know who he was. Shakur, that's a one of a kind guy. That's just
he just lets it fly. I helped him with a little website, nothing crazy, just something really simple. What's that?
Man, right?
Yeah, as soon as he texts me, what I love about him, we'll wrap this show up the way we started talking about authenticity. He is so authentic. When he texts you, you can hear him talk.
You can, yeah.
That's always the best.
He types how he talks, and he's just very genuine, authentic, awesome guy. Doesn't care about much around him. Like I said, he was wrestling. He was gonna go to wrestle Colin Moore. He's like, who is this guy? Shaq just does Shaq.
My favorite experience with Shaq was I brought him out to my hometown in Indiana for a camp one time. And it was just worlds colliding, and he was just kind of chilling the whole trip. And then we were driving from the airport to my house, and it's out in the middle of nowhere. And he it's kind of dark outside. We start getting to my house. And he takes his headphones out, start looking up, and he's like, "Yo, where are you taking me? This is Texas Chainsaw Massacre." And I'm like,
live in the middle of nowhere.
yeah.
And those are the people we hope tune in this Tuesday night from Indiana.
Yes.
Is it exciting being on the card for the first? Is this the first time you've been on a card with your brother or wrestling an event with him?
I mean, since college, yeah. I mean, I know he's excited to compete. He hasn't competed in a long time, but I'm really excited for him. I mean, he's definitely probably the most athletically talented in our family. I gotta be careful what I'm saying. I got another brother, Matt, who was also on the card, but we had some other guys that ended up not being able to wrestle. Um, but yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm excited.
Is there any brotherly competition? Who scores more points? Who does this? Who does that?
I think there always is. Not
It's just
really
unspoken.
not really these days anymore. I feel like it's more we're trying to help each other out.
Yeah.
I actually, to be honest, at tournaments and stuff, whenever I need a scouting report, the first person I text is Joe because he's already got it. I don't even have to ask. And then, yeah, I mean, we used to compete all the time. Because we actually used to be in the same weight class. And
wow, I didn't know that.
so we would go to matches as kids. We would be in the same weight class, and my dad didn't want us to wrestle each other because he thought we would get in fights, which he was probably right about.
Spot on.
So, like, whoever wants to forfeit, like, we're gonna get you an Xbox game.
That is great parenting.
and Joe was like, I'll forfeit. So
Yeah, I'm sure Joe
and
forfeited
Joe
every
being the
time.
younger brother. And then here I thought I'm the smart one, like winning these kids tournaments, and then we go home and like Joe, so he was probably smarter.
You got a nicer trophy though.
So
He's sitting with his trophy. His brother's sitting there playing Xbox, and it's like, what?
It's like, wow, this is the best thing ever.
actually I was a little jealous, but um, but yeah, no, I think we're definitely helping each other out. But the early life brotherly competition is one of the most healthy things. So
Yeah. And will Coffee Cenzo be coaching the corner?
on Tuesday,
Yeah.
I might be there. I might be there. Coaching. Might be doing commentary. We'll see what happens.
Commentary would be fun.
Maybe we'll see.
If it's a last minute announcement, I won't pry for too much information. But listen, if you're commentating, it's even better because I just want you to coach from the commentary seat.
I probably will by accident.
It's always funny when there's like, I remember, I think Bo was doing commentary for Big Ten for a Penn State duel, and he started doing it just a little bit. You're kind of like, just hear it like under the breath.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right, guys. Any final words before we wrap up here?
I just want to say, it's okay to, watch other teams' events. I paid for the Hawkeye Wrestling Club event. It was awesome. Like that's how we're gonna help each other, and that's how we're gonna grow. And we all just really have to help each other, and that's pretty much it. Well, pretty much what Bryce was saying on that card just kind of hit.
He was spot on with that.
Yeah, that's really all I got.
Yeah, we gotta support each other now. This is if one person wants to wrestle, you gotta fight for everyone's right to wrestle right now. So if you want college wrestling, talk about it. You gotta talk about it.
If you want to watch wrestling, pay for it.
Yeah, I got mad. Facebook, when on the Baschamania Instagram and Facebook, I try to post as much as I can with like cards and updates and stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I shared one on Facebook, and I share them out to like wrestler groups because I know the casual fan barely knows what NCAA's is, let alone anything else. And as I'm sharing out some of these cards to try to get fans to be less of a casual fan and more watch it like you watch football or baseball or anything else, and people are commenting like, yo, who's going to share their Brockman credentials? Yo, who's going to share their track credentials? And I'm like, you want to see more of this, but you don't want to spend the $9.99?
$10. Like
it's less than a burrito, double meat.
I bet you ordered food to your house that's worth twice more than you're gonna pay that. Yeah.
Right. And if you're that concerned, have a friend come over, split it.
$5. Like
right. But sharing it goes so far to help some of these events. And it's like, look, if you can't spend $30 on some of these pay-per-views, which that's fine. Have a bunch of friends come over and split it all up. Everybody Venmos everybody everything anyways. Just one person get the pizza, one person get the event, one person get this. Got to support the athletes. Got to support the clubs because that's the only way the sport's going to grow. Bryce was spot on in that message.
And if we don't, then we're not going to have these cards anymore.
Yeah.
And it's going to come naturally, and we're so lucky to be at the time that we're in now where this kind of stuff can start happening. So.
Yeah, the fact that it's possible, and this is like the big time you're seeing it. This is the proof of concept. Is it worth Flow spending $200,000 plus for an RTC cup? Well, tight mercury and flow. You know what I mean? Like all these things, and the investment seems to be there because people are making these decisions blindly. But now's the time to like help prove the concept works.
Right, I agree.
Absolutely.
And I also think NLWC needs to start selling merchandise, which I text Varner about every other day.
That
we,
would be
we don't.
not really.
I
Dude,
have no
I
idea.
think I have 2 NLWC t-shirts. Like I got this from the golf outing.
Yeah, so it's a secret between us three and the audience, but like we built in a store into the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club website.
Oh, really?
It's waiting, so everybody needs to pressure Varner because I keep telling him like we built it in.
Yeah.
Like people always like when people put Justin Bash and Bash Solutions together and they connect the dots, they start DMing me and saying, "Why haven't you built that NLWC store yet? Why haven't you built the store yet?" I'm like, actually, we have. There's just no products.
There's just nothing in the store.
Right.
Arnold probably sells old gear.
His WrestleMart socks.
his first like Marner shoes, like just like worn by him.
Partner worn shoes, one of a kind.
Yeah, the size 15 and a half. Like
Oh man. All right, everybody tuning in, go to rockman.com/NWC, sign up for the event, follow Cenzo, follow Nick. I'll tag them, link them. They're gonna retweet it, they'll reshare it. Go follow them. Guys, we will talk soon. Let's go tweet the heck out of Barstool Sports.
yeah, it was an absolute pleasure.
It is a pleasure.
Oh, we're gonna have to do coffee talk too soon. So
Yeah, no doubt. We got it.
awesome, guys. Let's see you later. And that is it for today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did. If you did enjoy this episode of the podcast, be sure to leave a 5-star rating review on Apple Podcasts and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on more episodes. For more wrestling content, be sure to follow Baschamania on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And follow me. I'm at JBash on Instagram and at JustinJBash on Twitter. I'll be back with another episode shortly. See ya.
And the beat goes on.